So I caught wind of this little viral thing, and it really made me laugh. I heard some people critique it and whatnot, and I figured, why not pile on? Like, this is one of the dumbest fucking things that you ladies do, right? You try to make your world a better place through force. You just go, if only this happened, then everything would be so much better, right? You don't think of, how can I make my world better now? And when you do, you don't think of how you can make the world better for everybody. You just think of how you can make the world better for you, but you don't really think about how I can make the world a better place. You just think, what things can we get rid of that I don't like so that shit will be happy for me? So here's a little bit of that, and it made me giggle. So I figured I just shit all over it because it's about as dumb as you get. All right, here we go. This is a tweet from Feminist Next Door. Which, thank Christ, that doesn't actually apply, but whatever. Women, imagine that for 24 hours there were no men in the world. No men are being harmed in the creation of this hypothetical. They will all return. They are safe and happy wherever they are during this hypothetical time period. What would or could you do that day? Now, first of all, I think it's funny that you guys have gotten it to the point where you can't even fucking make a hypothetical without this, without saying, oh, we're not killing off all the men, we're just getting rid of them, they'll be fine. And it's kind of egotistical that you think you needed to put in safe and happy. Believe me, if we were anywhere and no women, we would all be a lot safer and happier. So you're kind of fooling yourselves thinking that you're giving us that bone. Believe me, just the lack of you, more than enough. What would or could you do that day? Well, let's find out what some lady said. I haven't really gone through this. I watched somebody else go through this and whatever. So this has been going on now for a while. It went very viral. So we'll see what people have been saying now lately. All right. You'd run around in circles totally confused because there's no one to blame. I think that's kind of funny. There's no point in thinking about this scenario unless you're a radical feminist who likes the idea of a world without men. Yeah, pretty much. Like, that Lori Davis, she's got it pretty much right on the fucking nose. There's no point in even considering this unless you just hate men. Like, it's just, unless you just think men are the root of all cause, of all evil, and it's just because penis. And that's what makes us that way. There's no point in even thinking about this otherwise, because as soon as you begin to think about it, you really realize how fucking stupid it is. But anyway, we'll get to that later. All right. The normal stuff I always do because I don't demonize or fear men. Honestly, I'd be sad, overworked, and stressed. My husband helps a lot around the house, helps with the kids, and he's his best friend. This hypothetical sucks. Wish that my husband was here with me. Where all these ladies come from? I would hate such a scenario. I like men a lot. I'd be pretty sad. I'd miss my husband and my boys. It means I'd be taking care of my daughter's illness solo while I'm sick and need sleep, so I'd be getting up in the middle of the night instead of my husband doing so. Interesting thought. I'd be sad and would miss my wonderful husband and beautiful son. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into, Alright. I'd run all night on my own. I'd just start before sunset and finish off just after sunrise. I've done it a couple of times in races when I knew there were always other runners fairly nearby, and it was magical, but I've never felt safe doing it alone. You're going to notice a theme. All of you women, well, I can't say all of you women who said this sort of thing, you all seem to want to run around outside or walk around outside or just kind of be outside and pretend that you're any safer with no men there than you are any other time. I know a lot of women who wander around outside, who run, do all sorts of things. Nothing ever happens to them. Why? Because they're not doing it in a way that makes them a target. They protect themselves, the thing that a lot of you women just seem to think is somehow the job of men, which is kind of funny because 24 hours you're going to have nobody to protect you from each other, and that's going to be interesting. What I do every day, yeah, pretty much that's what you're going to be doing, the same fucking shit. Slightly different though, and we'll get into that later. Take a walk outside at night. Bonus points if it's Christmas time. I love walking around when the lights are out. Well, who's going to keep the power on? I'm sorry. We'll get to that in a second. My bad. Be able to walk around Egypt at any hour carefree without being catcalled every 4 seconds or being harassed / followed. Go get my cat back. Okay. Alright. I imagine there was a story there, but don't care. After a somewhat boring day at work, I'd log into Elder Scrolls Online and race the other female players for those pesky Thieves Guild casket that take forever and a half to respawn, and probably manage to grab a couple. Who knows? It sounds to me like you're not really as into the game as, say, the other people who are getting those things ahead of you. Maybe if you were more into the game, you'd get those things. This sounds like an ability fuck-up, not a men fuck-up, but whatever. We have this occur annually in South Carolina. It's called Holiday Bowl Games, where the men gather in front of the TV and watch football. I do whatever I want on this day. And what does that consist of? Anything. You go wander around outside, look at the sky. Oh goodness, now that I think of it, I don't like a world without men. Like I said, as soon as you start to think about it for very long, it all kind of falls apart. I lost my job in your male-free world. Now I teach teens with learning differences, and before that I taught adjudicated students. Both schools' students' bodies were 90% boys, as boys more often have poor outcomes in traditional school systems than girls. Well, there you go. A lot of jobs going to be gone for that day. You'll just have the day off. It's only 24 hours. They'll all be back tomorrow. I'd go for a nice long walk through the city, then a long night drive out to the country or the beach where I could see the stars. Because God knows you can't see any stars. All us men, we just cover the stars. And you're not going to need to drive out to the beach to see the stars. You'll be able to see the full night sky no matter where you are. We'll get into that in a second. Seize the means. Whatever the fuck that means. Nothing that I can't / don't do now. Makes me laugh. I'd go for a run along the canal. Look, alright, I think we're done reading this shit. Because honestly, I mean, it doesn't... Walk down the street in shorts. Yeah, anything I do on a regular day without men around, it would be a weird, sad day. I would miss the banter. Right, so there you are. There's the answer to your question. But here's the funny thing. Y'all dumb bitches think that everything's just automated. Right? That everything just... robots run it all, and we just keep the robots running. Who's going to keep the power on? Right? All you idiots are going to have no fucking choice but to wander around outside and look at the sky, because there ain't going to be fuck all else to do. Right? Who's going to keep the power on? Who's going to keep the water running? Provided that all of those things fail, who's going to get it all going back online? Right? Who's going to make the fires to boil the water so that you guys can drink clean water for a day? Y'all going to be some dehydrated, hungry, wandering around looking at the stars motherfuckers. Because, right? You don't think about it very much. And who's going to tell you guys all the interesting things to do? You're going to have to come up with that shit on your own. And all you ugly women, don't think you're involved in this. All you ugly bitches got to work because you all have skills. Because you didn't get to just rely on your looks for the most of your life, so you had to pick up things here and there. You had to learn how to do this, and had to learn how to do that. Right? What happens if the car breaks down? I have to get some ugly bitch to fix it, because, you know, they're the only ones working today. We got all our Morlocks working. All the ugly women just sitting in the sewers making shit run. Dude... And let's think about this. Let's think about this really logically, shall we? Let's say, okay, we got a hypothetical world where all of the men have walked through this magical dimensional portal, and they've all gone someplace else, right? And we're all going to be happy and healthy because you know we're going to be in male world while you guys are all in women world, right? And in 24 hours, we're already going to have started on an infrastructure, right? We'll already have been setting up power lines in some way or another. We'll have already gone past the Bronze Age, far past the Bronze Age, by the time 24 hours is up, and we'll be sitting around going, man, we don't want to go back. Because it's been awesome. We've been able to get shit done. Like, everything's going so much better now. We don't want to go back, because we know how to do all the things, and we're doing just fine. Right? It isn't all that difficult to say, here, sign that, and now go take a seat, and somebody will get to you in a moment. It isn't that tough. So we can all handle that shit. Right? And anything that we don't have, we can make. We've already started designing robot bitches. You're being slowly replaced. And so far, the only people upset about it is you guys. So think carefully before you start throwing around the idea of we don't want to have men around, because it falls apart almost instantly as soon as you begin to think about that scenario. So it's a good thing that the most of you, the best thing you can come up with is I'd wander around outside, because honestly, that's all you'd be able to do.